Travis Wayne Goodsill, as I'm listening to the news, finding out that the LDS Church Russian hack on America is growing every day. Many were involved or victimized by the churches catering to Russia on this. As Microsoft is doing the work for the government to send out notifications to the various potential companies and organizations that to ask them if they've been compromised, because it's been such a massive hack. As they're saying, it's now the biggest hack ever. So yeah, the church really did a number on America on this one. And I've showed you the evidence, I showed you the money trail. I warned you guys when Nelson got up, his first solemn assembly, and said and a major city yet to be determined in Russia. The audience was cheering, and I had my jaw dropped. You don't do business with Russia unless you're corrupt, or they corrupted you. So, everything I've learned since then has confirmed this. Even church history confirms that the church is the evil empire. I warned you, and that's why I'm an LDS critic. When investigating Joseph Smith's assassination, I had to look at events prior to, during, and after, because you don't do a very good job without a full investigation of what happened. And the main thing you do is you follow the money. And if there was no money, then you follow who got rewarded. Now, those who went to court, the three men, they had brand new suits made for them by the townsfolk. And of course Mormons look at that and go, see, I knew they were guilty. They bought them new suits for court. They wanted Joseph dead. And then they don't look at Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball and Willard Richards and John Taylor and Brigham's it's the traveling, it's the missionary 12, not the administrative 12. They were the ones that benefited the most with the assassination of Joseph Smith. And that was the money trail that tied it all together. As I knew that Brigham and Heber were the ones who ordered the assassination of Joseph Smith, because Joseph chased out the mob. And so yes, the mob did shoot him when he was fallen at the well. But who shot him in the room? The mob was chased out. And it's said that Joseph went back into the room because Hiram was shot and lying on the floor, whose blood remains to this day, despite Spencer W. Kimball ordering the cleaning up of it to try to make it disappear. It stained the wood. And when you put all the evidence together and then you tie it all up in a nice pretty little bow with a cherry on top, with the money trail of those who prospered, Brigham had Joseph murdered. And so with this coronavirus, they came out and said, oh, it was just one of those things, one of those markets in China. That's how they live. And yet they blamed bats, sold at the market, all those heathen primitives, and just tried to claim that this was just a regular virus that would have occurred at any other time, as we're now finding out it's not. It is the most complex and destructive, but it's only so bad as all the governments refused to do what was necessary in the beginning for such a viral outbreak. And Nelson and Herbert Cox were part of this plot against the world and their specific roles. Nelson against Mormons, Herbert Cox against Utah, following the orders of Nelson. But again, who benefited? We now know from reporting from the third and second and first quarter, and they have different quarter reportings for businesses, and they make public their quarterly reports, and they found that the biggest of companies like Amazon and Microsoft and Google, Facebook, were the ones who profited the most during coronavirus. And if you remember, in the beginning, there was the big sell-off on stock market. And I did the video saying, hey, they're selling the stocks to reinvest it into coronavirus-friendly stocks. Sure enough, it's exactly what they did. News didn't cover it, I covered it. News didn't want to tell you. The church had an interesting timing with that, as they were major investors in the stock market, so they too were a part of the sell-off and then reinvestment. But their reinvestment had to wait for certain judges to make certain decisions that gave them confidence to go back and reinvest. A certain case, file 219 TV 00711. Bastard Wad-ups. And so yes, there's a new one that included Wad-ups. 220 CV 00633. But the church was appearing to flee as they were doing other stuff like, hey, Mormons, here's the handbook of instructions, the holy grail of Mormonism. It's yours, take it, we're out of here. Boy Scouts, see ya. Oh, you have to file for bankruptcy and you'll most likely be liquidated. Oh, too bad, so sad. You do understand that the church caused that. They supplied the Scoutmasters and they supplied the Boy Scouts, raped by the Scoutmasters. And yet the Boy Scouts got the blame for it. As the church pulls out and says, ah, it was our people, but we're out. We're doing our own thing now so that we can have Mormons alone rape Mormon kids alone. And so, if you hadn't noticed, we've got some deadlines this month that will cause a lot of suffering for the majority of Americans, especially Mormons. Tomorrow night, government shutdown deadline. And then there's a rental assistance and job assistance or something like that. I can't remember the titles of them, but yeah. And a second stimulus is still being decided, as it doesn't look like they'll come up with anything, but who knows. But we are suffering as the church and other big businesses are profiting. We had 33 deaths today in Utah. It was a record breaker for the month, at least. I'd have to check the records. I still have them here. We had 26 on the 25th. Yeah, we had 34 on the 25th of November. So it's the second highest death rate for a single day. And remember, the church isn't just profiting financially. In the beginning, Nelson pulled we're holding a fast to cure coronavirus. Then he had to do it again for Good Friday, coronavirus fast, and obviously it didn't work. He's a medical doctor and says, I know how to heal. I'm the healer. We're going to hold a fast. And then, of course, the 20th of November, he pulled the video stunt of gratitude heals coronavirus. But Nelson has purposely aided and abetted in helping to spread and escalate coronavirus in Utah among Mormons. As Mormons are saying, we can go out into the public, we just have to wear a mask. Okay, I think that's a good idea if we protest so that we don't wear masks. And yes, Mormons are a part of that, anti-maskers. And it came from Russia. Russia spread misinformation and disinformation through America. Remember, we're under attack. This is at war. Russia is at war with us. This cyber thing, that's part of it. If you learn the art of war, they're following it to a T. They are attacking us. We are at war. If Congress keeps their head up there and do not declare war, we're still at war. And yet, we still have Mormons who say, I'd rather be Russian than vote Democrat. Remember that in 2016? I remember my neighbors. They have played you like a fiddle. And so, yeah, the cheering that you can hear in the background of that conference when Russia said, hey, we're going to have a temple in Russia. Oh, and where is that temple? Wait a minute, there's no membership in Russia. It's just a blank line. Where'd they go? Wait a minute, why are you sending 2 new mission presidents to Russia this year? What's going on? Why the cover-up? Why are missionaries getting arrested in Russia? What's going on? What's the cover-up? And so, when you do business with Russia, you have to do them a favor, though. If you remember Ukraine and Trump. And Russia's not done yet, because we don't have a temple. No groundbreaking. We have groundbreakings for every other temple already. But Russia? Nope, still nothing on that. And the reason why is because Russia wants more done by the church to show that they deserve it. And Russia wants to destroy America. And that's what they're doing. They're helping to spread and escalate the virus, deceiving Mormons, not going against Trump. They've been silent. They come out and generally say, oh, abuse and violence is wrong. However, when the Black Lives Matter protesters were abused by the cops, you had the church come out and say, oh, what the protesters are doing is wrong. If you don't like it, you need to take us to court, where we have all the judges paid for, and you'll have complications with your lawsuits, as those two that I talked of are having complications for that same reason. They are racist, they are sexist, they are bigoted, they are hateful. They tried to murder the poor. Before the Gateway Project, the poor hung out at Temple Square. The church doesn't like that, because they're filthy rich. They don't want to give to the poor. Today they gave $1 million. Ooh, wow, a lot. Yeah, I did the percentages for you. 0.0001 at least. Right? Yeah, at least. You know, we had the storm blow through Utah. And did the church come out with a statement saying that what the church is doing to help? Nope. They did nothing for Utah. They covered the hurricanes, that the church Helping Hands was there to help. They talk about how they give minute amounts of charity to other places in the world. To Utah, nothing. I've been doing this warning since 2016. Wasn't an LDS Critic then. That didn't come until the end of 2017, when the bishop kicked me out for saying that the Book of Mormon is correct when it says that Adam fell. He tried to extort me, cancel my business pursuits with publishing, or why bother coming to church? So, yeah, I don't go to church. Nobody extorts me. Church isn't true if it has to extort me to go. And then I went and did church history research and found out the truth, not just about the assassination, but the origin. Book of Mormon, the Smiths versus Brigham Young and Heber. And so, yeah, we are witnessing the Book of Mormon warning. As the 2017 is the date given to us in 1 Nephi chapter 1. I did the video the other day about how 2020, this year, is in Helaman 7. And then Jesus coming to America, as all of us who serve missions went around and told people, the highlight of the Book of Mormon is when Jesus came to America. Yeah, that's 2024. The 3 days of darkness. But this can only be the last days if both the government of America and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are corrupt and need to be replaced with the kingdom of God, Zion. If the church is righteous, there's no need for Zion. There's no need for a second coming. Because you got the church, they're righteous. There's only a need for the Christ. And remember, as I've been telling you, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2. Christ is to be understood according to the learning of the Jews, not Christians. Not even the coded church history of Joseph Smith. Yes, it's coded too. Book of Mormon's coded, Doctrine and Covenants is coded. Every Mormon should know that the Doctrine and Covenants was coded. I mean, the church missionaries came out with a 1981 version trying to decode it. They missed some, as I've been covering those for you. But we know their ultimate goal. Book of Mormon tells us to destroy, so that they can rise up from the ashes with their kingdom. And they plan on bringing back polygamy. Law of chastity. Did the video. I exposed them for it. Nobody else exposed them. But interestingly, my woman formerly called my second ex told me about it. And I went, what? I hadn't gotten to reviewing the full video that I obtained of the changes, so I was unaware of it. I mean, it's law of chastity, so it's quite a long while into the video, as Mormons themselves are already in shock at that point by Eve having a larger speaking role, and women no longer wearing a veil, no longer obeying their husbands, as women are getting all sorts of ideas of how they can defy their husbands now and rule the family. As if women of the Mormon Church were not already doing that. But to have it official, oh God. But yeah, it's a slight little word change, just adding his law, putting that in there. Legally and lawfully wedded according to his law. What is his law of marriage? Oh, I'm sure it's one man, one woman, right? Well, reread section 132, and it'll say one man, one woman. 10 virgins got removed, right? Nope. No, it did not. So, why are you spinning? Stop it. Oh, that's great. Trump ordered torture. Is this the southern border? Oh, it was Bush. Okay. He's going back in time. Good, he's trying to pull a Rachel Maddow. But, murder to get gain, guys. Do you understand this? Do you understand that when you murder so that you can benefit from it, that's among the most serious of crimes? Capital punishment is often attributed to murder to get gain. That's why people follow the money when they do investigations, is to see who benefited. Because people typically don't murder just to murder. There's usually a gain that is obtained. You know, woman catches her husband cheating, so she murders him. She's now gained independence from an unfaithful husband. But, or she kills the woman to gain her husband back. What are you doing? Stop it. really disturbs me when I see a little buffering on my mouse cursor. It must be being hacked. After their big stunt, I guess they're coming back. Hey Travis, we're back. We're still here. But I had noticed during this period of the hacking, they stopped. They stayed away. Isn't that interesting? So, it is confirmed Russia is behind this self-personal computer hacking. But like I said, they're paying attention to these lawsuits too. We just need Campbell to turn on the church, even though she's been exploited as compromise to the church. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer when you do the investigation properly, like a true investigator would do, to find out who's responsible for this, who's benefiting, who's profiting. And right now, Russia is taking the blame for it. Oh, Russia's benefiting. Oh, Russia, they did it. Yeah, but who did they do it with? And I'm the only one who figured out the connection to the church. As these guys, the woman said tonight, we might not know for months or years because of how massive this was. We don't have time enough to wait that long. Judge Campbell needs to move immediately on this. So, 2 more days for her for this week. Technically 1, but I don't find out until after midnight. So today, if she did something finally, I won't know until after midnight tonight. And then tomorrow, I won't know until after midnight on Saturday. I mean, it's one thing to realize the church is incorrect. It's another thing to find out that they're fraudulently incorrect. It's another thing to know that they're criminally incorrect. And it's another thing to find out they're seditiously incorrect. There's levels of horror that the church, they're happy with if regular ex-Mormons just think of them as having lied to them, the base level. You get some who believe, oh, well, they were frauding me, as in Gaddy versus COP. Gaddy believes she was frauded by the church. But like I said, there's criminal and there's sedition. And I'm here up at sedition, trying to get the rest of you to understand that. There are levels. Trying to pull you guys up to my level of understanding how corrupt the church is. So, I hope you guys are doing well, though.